of women leading the charge in health and wellness, from healers to CEOs. This session shines a spotlight on inspiring journeys of women who are not only transforming healthcare, wellness, but also redefining leadership in an industry that has been dominated by many other interests. It's a celebration of impact, resilience, and the powerful role women play in shaping the future of health and wellness. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists to the stage for this energizing and insightful conversation. Abigail White, medical intuitive of Breath of Life LLC, Elena Meadow, co-founder and CEO of Leone Health PBC, Mudita Aurora, founder and CEO of Posh N LLC, Shani Madaminova, CEO of Best Home Care Incorporated, Dr. Ann Deatley, CEO and founder of Optimal Health and Wellness Center LLC, also known as Quantum Breakthroughs, and Dr. Preeti Mistry, I apologize for the names, please correct me, CEO, founder, and conscious leadership coach at Best Self Forward LLC. Please join me in welcoming these beautiful women to the stage. Let's show some excitement and a round word of applause for our panelists. Again, our panelists from healers to CEO, women leading the charge in health and wellness. So excited to hear from you all. And you feel free to introduce yourselves.
Hi there, my name is Elena Meadow, and I've been in the health, excuse my voice, I'm a little creaky from this traveling this last week. I've been in healthcare for about 40 years and watched an evolution of healthcare, not always in the right way, but I'm liking how things are going now. And we have a wonderful panel of women here, and how we're going to do this today is I'm going to ask each of the panelists one by one to actually come up and talk about the challenges, their passion, what they hope to achieve in the next 5 years and 10 years, and anything that they need. I have found through my career, and it sounds very hokey in a way, but I found if I need something, I just have to tell 8 people, and somebody is able to come up with it. Thank you.
I like that idea.
The biggest change I've seen in healthcare in the last 40 years has been a return to the original natural food, which is human milk. And now I've embarked on a mission and am quite far along. I've had 3 startups, had 2 exits, and now I'm working on a way to provide the bioactive ingredients of human milk in order to combat severe health problems, especially gut health. And so I'm going to ask Preeti to come up first and share with us her career, her passion, and so forth. Preeti.
Thanks very much. I feel very honored to be here with such amazing women. So hi, I am Dr. Preeti Mistry, founder and CEO of Best Self Forward. And when I created the company, the original mission, and still is our mission, is to help people form authentic, meaningful connections. Now, you may all know this, or you might not know this, but loneliness is one of the biggest epidemics that we're dealing with today. And by loneliness, I'm not necessarily talking about people that are single. I'm talking about people that are around loved ones. I'm talking about people that are in relationships, but they don't feel seen, heard, or understood. And at some level, there's some basic human need that's not being met. And so my work has now expanded to focus on women in healthcare, help them connect with themselves better, help them relate to themselves better, really lead well from within and establish the self-leadership skills necessary so they can thrive in all their relationships personally and professionally. Prior to this, I had worked as a clinical dentist in a corporate setting for over a decade, and this is really where I firsthand experienced the typical pressures that healthcare providers are faced with on a day-to-day basis, such as high expectations, emotional demands, and even working in environments where your voice feels not quite heard. And so during these years where I really learned to navigate these challenges personally for myself, and naturally what happened over time is I got very curious in interpersonal dynamics, relationships, patterns that really shape how we show up with other people, how we relate, and how we lead them, because everything in life is a form of relationship. And so the work that I really focus on now today is, well, let me backtrack a little bit. So eventually, this is what led me to found my company, which is Best Self Forward. And the work that I really work on now is at the individual level, in terms of how we relate to ourselves, how we lead ourselves, how we lead well from within, because it all starts from here. And if you don't have this part gone right, then it's going to really affect how you show up and lead with others. And so this is what we're about. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, you've heard from me before, so I'm going to take from Preeti what she said, because I already said it. It's this connection. It's our connection with ourselves. It's how we value ourselves and how we live up to our potential, because I think women have not been living up to our potential. I don't think men are either, but I think women have taken the back seat, and we need to step into our personal power and feel free to express our truth the way we see it, because we are severely limited in our culture with this yin energy, right? We have a lot of the yang energy, and actually women have been taught to behave or to operate under the yang way of being. And that's not most natural to women. So that nurturing, caring, connection part is very familiar, and it's really what's lacking in a lot of companies and a lot of aspects of our lives. So women have been happy to stay home and be with their families, to be the nurturers. That's very good. That's what but we need to value that. We need to say that's an important part of our culture, of our society, is to raise beings to be of value, to feel of value. But what I'm seeing is that women don't feel they are valued, and they don't feel that they're being nurtured to step in and to become who they need to be. So as I said before, or alluded to, is that I was a PhD research scientist and working on viruses for many years. And I loved what I was doing. I loved discovering things. But there was something else that was going through my mind, like, what? There's something more for me. I couldn't put my ideas on it, but I was like, this is not enough for me. Just to do, projects, and discover things. There's something lacking. There's some part of me that's not being expressed. And it took me a little while to figure it out. And so that's where I went into the more spiritual or the more invisible world, which I think is the real world. And I needed to come to that understanding and that connection with the real me, with the true me. And so I've even written books about this. So because I am so passionate about why we've disconnected from ourselves. So if we're disconnected from ourselves, we're not connecting to others, and we're not connecting to this higher power. So we talk about AI, and what I wanted to say in the last panel is that's artificial intelligence. We have access to real intelligence, like the higher power intelligence, and we're disconnected from it. That's the most powerful aspect of us. We have it, it's flowing through you. That energy is flowing through you every moment of every day, but we disconnect from it. And this is where we have lived, so we're living kind of distorted lives, and that's where addictions come in. And, our fields are distorted in one way or the other, and we're living out here. This is the fourth layer of the aura. Let's say it's right here. It's the mental layer. And we're here, we're not here. And so there's a, big difference and a big distance between those. So if we come here and we get to know who we really are, and why we're here, what our purpose, what our real purpose is not to have these careers and not just to raise families, raise the future generations. It's to raise the potential. It's to raise the vibration. It's to raise the level of consciousness for the whole unified field, and to live as oneness. Live as if we are just different aspects of the divine. Maybe I'll stop here.
So, Anne, is this on? Anne,
Yeah.
I would like to know, and that sounds great, and I think it's solid advice. How does a woman maneuver and keep her own soul and keep her self-esteem intact if she is in a toxic workplace?
Well, you find a way to get out of that toxic workplace because you value yourself more than whatever you're doing, right? So it's all about being is most important, not what we're doing, because we can be, and no matter what our career or whatever we're doing, we can be that person. We can be that higher self. We can be that true, authentic self. And so we need to recognize, I'm not being myself. I don't have one voice. I don't have one truth. I'm not connected to the wisdom of me. And that's, if we're not doing that for ourselves, we're not doing that for everything, every aspect of humanity. So first of all, we have to really connect to ourselves and find our own wisdom, find our own truth, and be able to speak that and become that. So there's an energy called the entelechy, which is a life force energy that we are designed with, let's say, and it is trying to guide us in every aspect. It's just that we don't pay attention because nobody tells us. What I'm telling you, I'm sure you have not heard from a lot of people. So I know that I am speaking my truth. I am trying to get people to see from a higher perspective on how they can be living their lives differently, to feel more satisfied, to be more connected, so when you're more connected to yourself, you're more connected to everybody. And that's why I feel comfortable. I can just say it, even though I know you're not all where I am. But we need to educate each other. We need to kind of come to be the role model that people need.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
And Abigail.
Hello, my name is Abigail White. I'm the founder and owner of Breath of Life, LLC. I'm a medical intuitive and a registered nurse by trade. I also hold bachelor's degrees in nursing, obviously, maybe not obviously, and neuroscience as well. So medicine was kind of like that first love that I ever had, but I've always been that person that could see things others couldn't, hear things others couldn't, had near-death experiences and things like that as well, and just never shut off all of the gifts that Anne so brilliantly speaks about. So I've always been that person, and that's really one of the core tenets of Breath of Life, my business, which is basically helping to educate individuals on the different intuitive abilities that we all innately have, that you're all born with and have access to and can learn how to hone and use in your day-to-day life, and bridge that gap between understanding that aspect of life and who you are, as well as understanding the very physical aspects, because we are living in physical bodies. So you cannot devoid yourself from that. You cannot say that you don't need sleep. You cannot say that you don't need to eat well. You cannot say that you don't need to move your body. That's false. So we have to have a better understanding of how to bridge that gap and understand when do you need a Tylenol and when can maybe Reiki or another form of energy medicine actually be more beneficial to you, and really understanding both sides of the coin. And that's really the core tenet of what I do, is understanding both sides of the coin so that you truly can live a very holistic life. So that's who I am.
So Abigail, what are your biggest challenges in fulfilling this passion? What are your obstacles? What are the things you need? And where is the next stop for you on your journey?
Sure, that's a great question. Biggest obstacle, people saying that the stuff that I do, the stuff that I know, the stuff that has been proven to work is just malarkey. People being very dismissive of the work that I do, wanting to stay in a very symptom-based format in medicine. I am one of the very lucky few individuals who, as a nurse, has worked before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. And I will tell you, if y'all are not aware, the world is very different. People are very different now than they were before. And because of that, they are more afraid, they're more anxious, they're more frustrated, and they don't know the reason why. Many people are very much in this space of, I just don't know what to do, but they know that something's not right. And so they go to the doctor and they seek thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars of medical treatment to try to answer that question of what's going on with me, why am I like this, where is the breakdown? And modern medicine can't fully give them that answer. And so then when somebody like myself comes along, or Anne, or I know another member of our group here today, Dr. Ezekiel, tries to explain that other half, sometimes people are very open and receptive to it. But I would say that a lot of people who have other letters behind their name hear that, and we are trying to explain to them there's another side of what is out there that can actually answer that question of what is going on with someone. They dismiss it because there's not enough money in the research. There's not enough research being done explaining that other side, being able to actually measure and quantify what's going on. And so it's been a life's mission of mine within my business to actually get that research, to actually quantify that, to bring in the, here's what happens to your blood, to your DNA when you do these more energetic healing practices, so that we can actually stop having this dismissal of very real, intelligent work being done in the human. So,
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So there's a perfect segue to what Abigail just said. I am Mudita Arora. I'm the owner of Potion. It's a curated nutrition company. And one of my biggest challenge that I see in my clients is that my clients are not wearing the weight on their body. They're wearing the weight on their mind. And to Dr. Dietle's point, women have really not, they are not living up to their potential. My 80 to 85% of my clients are women, and I can tell you that they range from a lot of physical ailments, diagnosed or undiagnosed. A lot of them are narcissistic abuse survivors. So when we talk to them, when I'm talking to them, and the basis of my company, it's a curated nutrition company. I help them find a balance. I help them nurture their bodies through nutrition. So a lot of times it's just in my first call, which could be 90 minutes long, I'm only listening to them. And there are times that they just talk nonstop, as if nobody has heard them in a long time. They have not been heard. So when we, as a practitioners, we come together, right? Somebody from nursing background, medicine professional, serial entrepreneur, we have Dr. Mystery here. So I just think it's not a one-man or a one-woman army. We have to have this holistic approach. We have to find the issues, like, whatever the diagnosed state is with the patient, but also listen to what they are not telling you. Like, just take time to listen to them. And some of the challenges that I had early on in my career is that I did not have enough business knowledge. So I kept working my full-time job, honing my skills, but over time, you also realize that sometimes, which is a very common experience with the healthcare professionals, you can have imposter syndrome. somebody with 2 master's degrees, somebody who has gone to really like Big Ten or Ivy League schools is thinking something like that. So I'm going back to Dr. Dietli's point. Sometimes women are not living to their full potential. We are realizing our potentials later in the life, and better late than never, right? But again, nutrition is one of the basic needs of the body. Eating food is one of the basic needs of the body. But when people are afraid, they are saying, I don't know, they're anxious all the time, it will show up in their eating habits. It will show up how they consume food, whether they are looking at it as a comfort factor, are they depressed, are they, whatever is going on in their environment. So how can we as a practitioner change that? And every client is unique. So that's why my company offers curated nutrition advice, curated nutrition practice to them. And it's not a one visit fix. Sometimes they have to trust their practitioner for good 6 months to a year to see some meaningful changes. So I will hand over.
I would like to ask you a question first. You've got an attentive audience here. What do you need to be more successful? What do you need to overcome what challenges that you do have?
So that's a very good question. I am at a crossroads where I want to now include the human intelligence with the artificial intelligence in my venture. So I know there's a lot of great people out here, who have already ventured into that. So that was one of my main reasons to come to this conference, to learn from them, to learn from what they are doing in the nutrition space. But I'm a nutrition professional. I'm not an AI expert or IT guru. So I'm looking for like-minded people who possibly have interest in nutrition, health, and well-being, and then take the company to the next level.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shani Madaminova. I'm a CEO of Best Home Care, located in Jersey City, New Jersey. I do not hold any medical degree, or I'm not a scientist, but I am a living proof. I came back from the dead, you would say. I've been blessed. I was given a second chance. I learned about all this healing only a year and a half ago. When you nearly die and you come back, you start asking questions why you have the second chance, and you stop chasing. You stop chasing money, you stop chasing success, and you start thinking, what is exactly that you've been sent here to do? What's your mission? What's your purpose? In healthcare as a CEO, I'm very entrepreneurial, and I was chasing business after business. I've been in business 16 years. We became one of the largest home healthcare companies in New Jersey. And it's constant chase for money, ambition, growth. And just one day, God will just put you to your place where you will be like, oh, am I living the lifestyle that I'm sent here, I guess, not the right way. So, and I started asking questions. And just happened to be, then I started Googling, researching how to get back on the feet. I was bedridden first. Then I was in a wheelchair. Then I had to get back to start learning how to walk again. And, I'm a mom of 3. I have a beautiful husband. And everything had changed for us. So I totally agree with Anne in regards to finding your authenticity. Because what we do is why are we searching all this success, all this growth, and all this money chase? Because you're looking to fulfill something that is missing inside you. You don't need money. You don't need success. What you need is to find your authenticity, your authentic self. We're all born with it. You just need to learn how to connect to it. Just God gave me the second chance and showed me how to do that. And that's how I learned. So it's all of you, you have that light inside you. And all you have to do is you have to just tap into it. And you have to embrace it. And stop looking for external validations. You don't need anyone to tell you, oh, you're so good, you are a mother, or we as a mothers, whether as a women, right? By society, I guess it's the society who created us to be, oh, you are a mother, you're a female, you have to stay home, you have to raise children, and you have to clean houses, you have to do everything. And plus, now, all of us were trying to get a career also. Now we've given a chance. However, it is all programming that is given to us by the society. All you have to do is just connect to your authentic self to find that wholeness and for you to be completely happy. Because once you lead, because I'm a CEO myself, so all I cared about, growth, metrics of the business, the performance of the team, and you don't like them because they have this meltdown, you fire them. I was that person. But I don't lead my team anymore like that. I lead with care and compassion. Because when you connect to your authenticity, you lead by heart. You don't care about numbers anymore. I don't chase success anymore. I don't chase ambition, trying to buy another business, business after business, business after business. And what happens? You reach that goal, you're only happy for a moment, a couple of days, maybe a month. And what happens next? You go right back to chase for another, because what happens is we're looking constantly to be happy, to be whole. You're not going to find it externally. You only will find it here inside you. I've seen it. It has been shown to me. And all you have to do is just tap into yourself. So lead by heart. Connect with people. When you are in alignment,
Are we almost done?
you lead with compassion. And you lead with care and understanding. Because you don't look through your own self anymore. You look through other people. Because all I cared about is how these people are going to make me rich, correct? No more. Because now I say, what is going on with you? Maybe I can help you some way. Maybe I can lift them up. And we as the leaders, especially in healthcare, we have to change that mindset. We cannot just look at metrics and numbers anymore. You have to care for your team, because once we change that system where we try to control everyone, sort of, let's say, close to enslavement, trying to pay them minimum wage, get into their shoes and see where they're coming from. Maybe they're suffering. Maybe they can't pay their rent. So be human. So this is what I learned. So, and I'm thankful to be here. Honestly, I was pushed here to be here, but this is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Excellent.
I'd like each of you to say in just a few words, what is the number one most important thing to you, personal or professional, in either world?
Number one most important thing to me, personally or professionally? Being kind, I guess, and understanding that there's a difference between nice and kind. I tell people honestly, I'm not a nice person, I'm a kind person. Niceness is what's on the forefront. It's the, oh, hi, how are you? And then maybe not caring about what happens next. Kind is, there's something wrong, you tell me, I will fight for you. I will bleed for you. I will give you the shirt off my back if you need it. It's what makes me such a great nurse. It's what makes me such an excellent intuitive. Being able to understand that difference and very radically live that with all of the integrity in the world. So yeah, being kind.
Thank you.
So for me personally and professionally, I would say take risk. It's okay to take risk. It's okay to fail, but take risk in your life. Don't be status quo. Just go out there, believe in yourself, and listen to advice. There are a lot of people outside with great advice, but believe in yourself in the end. Take risk, believe in yourself.
I would say for me, the most important things to learn is learn how to voice yourself, especially as women. And I can give you a little bit of a story and a background that, a challenge that I overcame, and that was a turning point for me, was when I was working as a clinical dentist. Just like many women, not all women, I thought that by being more accommodating, more pleasing, taking on more responsibilities and more tasks, that things would just, flow smoother, there would be more respect all around the board, but I couldn't be further from the truth because that's not how it worked at all. I was being taken advantage of, and, I was taking on tasks that really took my energy away from what I meant to be doing at that time. And so there came a day, a specific moment, I remember this very clearly, where a certain somebody had crossed the line with me one too many times, and I let it go by, in the past. And, we all reach a point where enough is enough, and something different needs to be done. And so that day, I decided to have the difficult conversation behind closed doors, of course, professionally. But if any of you struggle with setting boundaries, or never have set a boundary, especially in a work setting, you can imagine how sometimes terrifying that could be, because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how people are going to react. But that day, I decided that what I had done before wasn't working, so something different needed to be done. And so I had my conversation. I told her what I felt, what I needed going forward. And to my surprise, she apologized. She heard me. And in the days forward, she never, did that to me again. But what was more surprising for me, and that was what I remember, is the internal shift that I felt in that moment. So instead of feeling regret, I felt a sense of peace. And instead of feeling awkward or like shame, I felt a sense of self-respect build inside me. And instead of fear, I felt this unfamiliar sense of power that I wasn't quite used to. And that was the moment I decided that this is the version of me that I want to step into. Moving forward, there are many other challenges that came by, but it was in those, those micro moments I could have made a decision each time that I showed up to either revert to the old version of me or step into the new version of me. And that compounded over time really led to one of the most transformative periods of my life, to the point where I was able to finally politely set boundaries, say authentically what came from the heart, and things and people around me started to shift too. That's something that I noticed, is I started to be treated in a more positive regard. And so, eventually what happened was that this started to escalate, and finally I got designated as the representative for my fellow dentists and hygienists, because they too were also facing things like their voices not being heard, no one really cared about what their needs were. And so I was the liaison between them and management to bring up their needs, salary increases, raises, contract negotiations going forward. And this eventually led to a really huge feeling of cohesiveness and increase in morale. And I think my learning point from this whole thing was, you don't need to really be at the top position to lead. You can lead from wherever you are. And it starts from leading well from within, because when you shift yourself, things around you change. So, yeah.
Yep. And thank you. That was excellent. That was very, very helpful. So what do you need? You have a group of people here that have been captivated by your message. What is it that you need to get to your next destination?
Yeah, I think there's I think in the realm of healthcare, the relational aspect is not quite seen, and it's really important. I think healthcare teaches people to become excellent clinicians, but emotional self-leadership is not quite taught, how to have those difficult conversations, navigate conflicts, set boundaries, better communication. And so just, having people become more aware that when you start to manage yourself well from within, and even changing the definition of what leadership means, right? Typically when we think of leadership, right, we think of like hard skills, things like power, outcome, performance, but the soft skills really matter, and I personally feel that's what really differentiates good leadership from excellent leadership. And these things, by the way, are qualities that women naturally come secondary in nature to them, things like emotional intelligence, things like relational awareness. So these qualities are not secondary, okay? They're essential. They're just as equal, so don't underestimate what you bring.
And if next door, if you could, Abigail, if you could also share, did you already say what you need?
I did.
Then if you could pass it. Thank you. I just want to make sure everyone has a chance.
Yes, we have covered that.
Okay, great. Do you want to take part in this, or, because you said you didn't want to answer questions.
For me, those who can see me there. For me, I guess I would like to touch as many hearts, as many souls, in terms of educating them to find their authentic self, to find their true purpose in this life, and as we awaken as many souls as we can, I guess that would be my desire, and that's my desire, the most highest desire. So, like I said, before it would have been more chasing for money and success, but now it's about touching as many hearts and as many souls as I can, so that people can remember their true essence. Once they remember their true essence and once they align to themselves, abundance starts flowing without any hustle, without any need. You don't have to chase anymore because it will just come to you. So that's for me. Thank you.
I would say the ditto, exactly. Help people awaken. And so what I need is more people that will listen to me. I need to be talking to more audiences. I need to be more of a role model and have my voice being heard, my wisdom. And I just want to say one other thing. There's nothing missing, there's nothing broken, and there's nothing wrong with anybody. So it's just the disconnection. They haven't found, they think there's something missing because they're looking out here. Just like Chani said, it's here. All the answers, all the wisdom is when you become aligned, and you become coherent, and you've integrated all the higher vibrational frequencies, or as much as you can handle. So it's a process. That's when everything shifts. That's when abundance comes. That's when peace comes. And that's when you feel most like yourself.
And I think we have time for a few questions from the audience. So if anyone wants to make their way to a microphone to ask a question. How are we on time? Are we, 10? Well,
I think they changed the time. We started late.
My name is Dr. Ezekiel Nelson. I don't want to ask a question. I just want to comment that you all are awesome. Very, very awesome. I appreciate your input. I appreciate everything you're saying. You have, I guess, validated everything that has been going on up here. And I thank you all for your insight. I definitely want to meet all y'all.
Gosh, thank you guys. All of us needed to hear every single one of you speaking the way you did, especially with the intuitive aspects of the way that your healing arts, of all your different kinds of healing arts, really help to, we are building that, all of us. I have a specific question for you. I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I didn't hear what your name is.
Shawnee.
Yes, I wanted to find out from you, in your change that you overcame, in your overcoming of that and manifesting the change, did you use certain tools, or do you have specific tools that you can share?
I did. So like I said, I was never a healer. I was just a CEO in healthcare. So what I did is I started searching because I could not understand what was happening to me. I was like zero energy. I could not even get out of my bed. So I was in a total depression. I was in total darkness. And once I started Googling, like, what's happening to me, my immune system is down, low energy, then the Google search, thank God for Google, came out, energy healing. And I'm like, what's energy healing? And that's how I started reading about it. And I don't know if any of you heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has free YouTube, meditations. I come from a Muslim family, so for us, you can only pray and go to imam or mosque, but what they do not teach you, and I guess most of the Muslim people, when you say you meditate, they be like, oh my God, that's haram, it's a sin, you can meditate. So I was very quiet about it. So I started meditating and learning about meditation on YouTube with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And oh boy, he took me there. So what happens is God will send you, the Most High will send you proper tools once you're aligned. Because my soul was searching, and I already knew that someone will come to me. And that Dr. Joe Dispenza was my first teacher, even though he doesn't know that I've been doing his trainings and stuff. So he came as first, then once I completed him, when you're in alignment, you will already know that you already hit your ceiling, so the next teacher comes. So you remember how I said, once you're aligned, everything will just come to you. You will no longer need to search anymore. It will just come to you. Even this just came to me. Because I did not know, I was asking God, how am I to speak to thousands of people, because I'm from New Jersey, right? But he wanted me to speak to millions. And I said, but how am I going to do that? I'm only one person. This happened. Someone reached out to me and said, you've been nominated and you're going to be a keynote speaker. And I was like, what? That's how it happens. You become aligned. So go online to YouTube, search Joe Dispenza. I tried because I would always wake up between 3 and 5, 3:33 exact a.m., do his meditation and try to learn. And then from there, your journey will start. And once you align, you will be unstoppable. So hopefully help.
Thank you. Any other questions? There we go.
Hello, my name is Curtis Alexander. I just had to speak because I sentiment everything that you said right there. And what I learned in my journey was prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when God talks to you.
Yes.
So.
Thank you.
Elena, I have a question for you.
Sure.
What were your challenges? What were your challenges as a serial entrepreneur, very, very successful, and now you're onto your third company?
Yeah.
So what were your challenges along the way, some opportunities that were missed, or you could have done things differently?
Thank you. Well, I started my first company in college, and so I am definitely a serial entrepreneur. And then I became a scientist, and I became interested in the human body and the way that it works at a cellular level. And started having my children, and there was no question about breastfeeding, because if you have a scientific knowledge, there is no question. Giving formula to infants starting in the 1950s was the largest uncontrolled human experiment in history. The largest uncontrolled human experiment in history, feeding formula. There were no clinical trials done. There were no outcomes done. The rate of diabetes has skyrocketed, and obesity in these kids, and even leukemia and cancer. The government started doing some reports and looking at, I went to the Surgeon General's conference on breastfeeding in the 80s, and the research that came out of that is making it harder and harder for anyone to really consider that infant formula is the best. Now, my focus is on preterm infants. And so my challenges initially have been raising money in order to develop a large network of milk banks and processing centers and so forth, and that equipment costs money. I've raised a total of $45 million in my career. And the biggest challenge with that, once you have the money, is if the people that gave you the money have different ideas about what's important. And so when I asked Anne earlier, what do you do if you're in a toxic environment? And that was a logical answer. But what if it's your company and you don't want to leave? So about 11 years ago, I was sued with from a competitor to try to get me out of business. And the lawsuit lasted 11 years. And then on top of that, COVID was the biggest, because we were just scaling into multiple millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden we couldn't go and see hospitals at all, and that was our call point. And of course, every sales rep in the world was trying to do their sales by phone during COVID, which was very annoying. So now I'm starting again my 6th startup, and it is to produce a formulated human milk colostrum. And the first usage for that will be for preterm babies, because without receiving colostrum, they don't get the microbiome in their gut to be protective against all of the pathogens that are in hospitals. And now, 82% of those pathogens are multiple drug resistant. So antibiotics will not do anything. The key is to really get that colostrum and these biologically active immune factors into their gut. And so I've developed a new cold processing method that preserves 98% of the bioactivity, so that these little 1.5 pound babies have a chance. And just got back from a long trip late last night, where I signed a major deal with a prestigious medical center to partner on doing all of the outcome studies. Because in my world, you just can't give something to a 1 pound baby and not already know that it works. But I've chosen the pathway of medical foods, not going IND, not going drug, probably would never sell to a drug or formula company, just because it's so different. But thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think she has a question.
Good morning. My name is.
There's only.
Oh, there's someone over here that was. Oh, no, come here. Yeah.
Go to the mic. There's a mic there. There's a mic there.
Oh, there's no mic.
Oh.
It's just a empty.
Supposed to be a mic there.
Good morning. So I wanted to make 2 comments. I have a question for the young lady at the end, because most times we focus on money, money, money. So in your experience, did you find that if you were kind to your workers and treated them, like help them and solve whatever problem they were experiencing, did you feel that you were blessed after that better?
Oh, yeah. Hello? Okay. Yes. So in Islam, obviously, we do, after Ramadan, usually during Ramadan, we have to donate, correct? Between 2% to 10% of your yearly income after net So why is that? So first of all, that's the only way to break away from poverty. And how it helps, I mean, I always treated my team, I was never the boss that will be micromanaging. That's number one. But as a CEO, as a business owner, right, and you have so many expenses, and you work with Medicaid, which does not really pay you that much, right? So I guess it's a human part of me that wants to do the chase, right, the money chase. But then once I became a healer, once I returned from the dead, when you stop caring for money, and you prioritize the money and success, when you lead with heart, the relationship between your team is totally different. You build stronger connections with them because you no longer keep that, you know how we have this follow the subordination, right? So you don't talk to me, only everyone who's below you talks to you, and it goes like that. So I don't no longer do that. So I take care of my clients who've been with us since the day one I've been open. So when you stop caring for money and you start leading with heart, people, they tend to trust you more because you open that bridge. Like the lady here, she said, we become that bridge because we just have to remember who we are, that most of all, we are human. So you have to act like one. Because as a business owner and leaders, like she said, it's an expectation where you have to be a strong, powerful leader where you have to show only power and strengths. But when you're a healer, you can show that you are vulnerable. And it's completely fine. Because all of you are the same as I am, right? So we all have our weaknesses. And when we actually go down to that level, to human level, where we see that this person is going through some traumatic event or stress, and we go into their body, into their shoes, and see things through their eyes, it becomes different. So the leadership itself is totally different. It's totally aligned, built on trust, not built because, oh, I'm paying this person, and she just has to work for me, and she has to just deal with me. Like she said, what you do in the toxic, when your job, you can't leave your job. You just leave. Because most of all, the very first thing you do, you choose you. Once you choose yourself, that means you're working, you're aligned, you're choosing your spirit. That means your spirit says, she finally paying attention to me. Yeah. That's when universe starts working with you.
I just want to compliment you. I said I would like to compliment you for taking that step in your journey.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so sorry, we don't have any more time for questions, but we do have an opportunity for networking at lunchtime. So not to interrupt the recognitions, but we have a recognition ceremony after this. Let's to get everyone to lunch on time. So please pardon the interruption. Give us a round of applause for our panelists.